When 28-year-old Maya Bennett was told she was going to marry a mafia boss, she thought her father had finally lost his mind. "You're marrying Adrian Moretti," her father said coldly. Maya stared at him across the dining table. "The Adrian Moretti?" Her father nodded. The name alone was enough to make powerful men lower their voices. Adrian controlled businesses, nightclubs, shipping companies, and half the city's underground network. Maya, however, had never belonged in that world. She was curvy, outspoken, warm-hearted, and worked as a pastry chef. She had spent her entire life being told she was too much, too emotional, too independent, too curvy, too ordinary. Now her father wanted to trade her into a marriage. "Why me?" "Because Moretti wants an alliance with our family." "And if I refuse?" Her father's expression hardened. "Then you lose everything." Maya laughed bitterly. "You mean you lose everything?" He said nothing. 3 weeks later, Maya stood beside Adrian at a private wedding ceremony. She wore a simple ivory dress. He wore black. Neither smiled. And neither knew that this unwanted marriage was about to expose a secret that would shake both families. Adrian Moretti was 35 and carried himself like a man who had never been allowed to fail. He was tall, controlled, intimidating, and almost impossible to read. During their first private conversation after the wedding, Maya finally asked the question everyone avoided. "Why did you agree to this?" Adrian loosened his tie. "Because my family needed peace." "So we're both victims." His eyes narrowed. "Perhaps." Maya crossed her arms. "Then don't expect me to pretend this is some romantic marriage." "I don't." That answer surprised her. He continued. "You have your own room. Your own schedule. Your own money. You don't have to love me." Maya blinked. "And what do you want?" "Respect. Loyalty. No lies." She almost laughed. "You're a mafia boss asking me not to lie?" A faint smile touched his lips. "You're the first person in months who has spoken to me like that." For the first time, Maya noticed something behind his intimidating expression. Loneliness. But before she could say anything, Adrian stood. "There is one thing you should know." "What?" "I can't have children." Maya stared at him. "I was told that was the reason this marriage could never become complicated." He nodded. "It won't." Neither of them realized how wrong that promise would become. Maya moved into Adrian's enormous mansion. It was beautiful but strangely empty. There were expensive paintings, marble floors, security cameras, and dozens of employees. Yet it felt like nobody actually lived there. Maya slowly began changing that. She started baking in the enormous kitchen. At first, the staff were terrified. Then the smell of cinnamon rolls and chocolate cake filled the house. Even Adrian's expression softened whenever he passed the kitchen. One evening, he found Maya sitting on the counter eating a cupcake. "You're eating dessert before dinner?" She shrugged. "I'm a pastry chef. It's practically a job requirement." He almost smiled. "You're impossible. You married me." "Technically, our families married us." She pointed at him. "Don't blame me." For the first time, Adrian laughed. It was quiet and brief. But Maya remembered it. Weeks passed. Their relationship slowly became less hostile. Adrian never touched her without permission. He never demanded affection. And when Maya's father called to pressure her, Adrian unexpectedly stepped in. "She is my wife," he said coldly over the phone. "You don't get to threaten her anymore." Maya overheard him. Something inside her shifted. Maybe Adrian wasn't the monster everyone believed him to be. Then Isabella Romano returned. She was elegant, wealthy, beautiful, and confident. She had known Adrian for years. When Maya saw them talking at a charity event, she immediately understood why people had once expected them to marry. Isabella approached Maya with a smile. So you're the new wife? Maya smiled politely. Yes. I've heard so much about you. I doubt any of it was flattering. Isabella laughed. Adrian has always preferred women who are different. Maya raised an eyebrow. Different from you? Isabella's smile disappeared. Adrian appeared beside Maya. Is there a problem? No, Isabella said. She looked at Maya one last time. Not yet. That night, Maya asked Adrian about Isabella. She was part of my past. Do you still love her? No. The answer came immediately. Maya looked at him. Then why did you look so uncomfortable when she spoke to you? Adrian sighed. Because Isabella knows things about my family that should have stayed buried. Maya didn't press him. But she could feel it. Something was coming. Several months into the marriage, Maya started feeling strange. At first, she blamed exhaustion. Then came the dizziness. She began feeling sick in the mornings. Certain smells made her nauseous. One afternoon, she nearly fainted while carrying a tray. Adrian caught her before she hit the floor. Maya. She opened her eyes. I'm fine. You almost collapsed. I haven't been sleeping well. He wasn't convinced. The next morning, Adrian insisted she see a doctor. Maya refused. I don't need a doctor. You fainted. Once. That's enough. She finally agreed. The doctor ordered several tests. Maya sat nervously in the examination room. When the doctor returned, his expression was unusual. Maya, I need to ask you something. She swallowed. What? When was your last menstrual period? Maya stared at him. She calculated. Then her face changed. I don't remember. The doctor gently placed the test results on the desk. You should probably sit down. Maya looked at the report. Her hands began trembling. I'm pregnant? The doctor nodded. Maya couldn't speak. Pregnant. The word echoed through her mind, but there was something else. Adrian had been told he was infertile. Everyone knew it. The doctors. His family. Maya. The entire reason their marriage was supposedly safe from complications. She left the clinic in silence. On the drive home, she stared through the window. She didn't know whether to feel joy or fear. When she entered the mansion, Adrian immediately noticed something was wrong. What happened? Maya looked at him. I need to tell you something. He stood. Are you sick? She nodded slowly. Yes. He walked toward her. What did the doctor say? Maya placed the report on the table. Adrian read it. His face became completely still. Then he looked at her. This is impossible. Maya's eyes filled with tears. I know. He picked up the report again. You're pregnant? Yes. He sat down. For the first time since Maya had met him, the feared Mafia boss looked genuinely shaken. Not angry. Not violent. Just stunned. Then he whispered. I was told I couldn't have children. The news spread quickly. Adrian's mother arrived at the mansion furious. You betrayed my son. Maya's face went pale. I did not. Isabella appeared behind her. How convenient, she said. Adrian turned toward her. Leave. Isabella ignored him. You were married to a man everyone knew couldn't have children, and suddenly you're pregnant? Maya's eyes filled with tears. You think I cheated? I think you should explain yourself. Adrian stepped between them. No one accuses my wife without evidence. His mother stared at him. Adrian, open your eyes. But Adrian looked at Maya. Did you betray me? Maya's voice broke. No. He nodded once. I believe you. That answer shocked everyone. His mother stormed away. But Adrian remained silent. Later that night, Maya found him sitting alone in the study. You don't have to stay with me. He looked up. Why would you say that? Because everyone will believe I betrayed you. I don't. But you don't understand how this happened. No. He stood. And that's what we're going to find out. Adrian contacted the specialist who had treated him years earlier. The doctor arrived the next morning. After reviewing the old medical records, he looked uncomfortable. Adrian, I need to tell you something. What? Your infertility diagnosis was never absolute. Adrian's expression hardened. What are you saying? The original test showed extremely low fertility. But someone altered the medical file. Silence filled the room. Who? The doctor shook his head. I don't know. Adrian demanded every record. Someone had deliberately convinced him he could never father children. Maya watched him closely. What if someone wanted you to believe that? Adrian's eyes darkened. Then they had a reason. They investigated the old records. Eventually, they discovered something terrifying. The doctor who had originally diagnosed Adrian had received payments from a company connected to Isabella's family. Adrian's fists tightened. This wasn't a medical mistake. Maya whispered. It was planned. Adrian confronted Isabella. She refused to answer. You're asking the wrong questions, she said. What did your family do to me? She looked away. Your father wanted control of your inheritance. Adrian froze. What? Your father knew you would eventually take over everything. He needed you dependent on him. Adrian's expression changed. Isabella continued. He created a situation where you would believe you couldn't have children. Then he pushed you toward a marriage alliance that would benefit him. Why did you help him? Because I loved you. Adrian laughed bitterly. That wasn't love. Isabella's eyes filled with tears. You don't know what I sacrificed. No. He stepped closer. But I know what you destroyed. She looked at him. Your wife. Adrian's voice became cold. My wife is the one person who didn't destroy me. Isabella's face fell. While Adrian investigated his family, Maya's pregnancy became more difficult. She suffered from severe fatigue and sudden pain. One evening, she collapsed. Adrian rushed her to the hospital. The doctors performed additional tests. They discovered something unexpected. Maya had a rare medical condition that had gone undiagnosed for years. Her pregnancy was considered high risk. Adrian refused to leave the hospital. Maya woke during the night and saw him asleep in a chair beside her bed. You stayed. His eyes opened. Of course. You have business. I cancelled it. She smiled weakly. You cancelled Mafia business for me? Yes. That's serious. He reached for her hand. Maya, you're my family. She looked at him. Even if the baby isn't yours? Adrian's expression softened. The baby is ours. She began crying. He gently wiped away her tears. I don't care what anyone says. For the first time, Maya realized she wasn't trapped in the marriage anymore. She was choosing to stay. Months passed. The pregnancy became increasingly difficult. Maya's sickness shocked everyone because she had always appeared strong and energetic. She could barely walk some days. Adrian became extremely protective. He rearranged his entire schedule around her medical appointments. His men were instructed to keep the mansion quiet. The woman who had once been forced into his home now had the entire household worried about her. One afternoon, Maya said, You're treating me like I'm made of glass. You fainted twice. And? You scared me. She looked at him. Adrian Moretti admits being scared? He sighed. Don't tell anyone. She laughed. Their relationship had changed completely. But someone else was watching. From outside the mansion, Isabella observed them through a car window. She wasn't smiling. She was waiting. One night, the mansion's security system suddenly went offline. Adrian immediately knew something was wrong. He ordered everyone to stay inside. Then the lights went out. Maya was upstairs. She heard footsteps. Before she could move, Adrian appeared. Stay behind me. What's happening? Someone broke into the property. He led her toward the safe room. Suddenly, a gunshot echoed outside. Maya screamed. Adrian pulled her close. Don't move. After several tense minutes, security regained control. The intruders escaped. But they left one message. A photograph of Maya. On the back were 4 words. The baby must disappear. Adrian stared at it. His expression became terrifyingly calm. Maya touched his arm. Adrian. He looked at her. No one is touching you. And our baby? No one is touching our child. That night, Adrian made a decision. He would end the war once and for all. Adrian finally confronted his father. The old man didn't deny anything. You were weak, he said. I was your son. You were an obstacle. Adrian stared at him. You destroyed my life. I protected the family. You lied about my fertility. His father shrugged. It was necessary. And Isabella? She was useful. Adrian's face hardened. Did you order the attack on Maya? His father remained silent. That silence was enough. Adrian walked away. He turned over every piece of evidence to the authorities. His father's empire collapsed within weeks. The man who had once controlled everyone suddenly had nobody. Adrian returned home exhausted. Maya was waiting. Is it over? Yes. She smiled. Then come here. He sat beside her. She rested her head on his shoulder. For the first time in his life, Adrian had chosen his family over power. The baby arrived early. Maya was rushed to the hospital. Adrian stayed beside her throughout the entire ordeal. When their daughter was finally born, the room became silent. A tiny cry filled the air. Adrian stared at the baby. His eyes filled with tears. Maya whispered. She's beautiful. He nodded. She is. The doctor smiled. Congratulations. Adrian looked at Maya. Thank you. For what? For giving me something I never thought I could have. Maya smiled. You mean a daughter? He shook his head. A family. Maya began crying. He kissed her forehead. The Mafia boss who had once terrified an entire city was now holding his newborn daughter with trembling hands. And he had never looked happier. 2 months after the birth, another medical report arrived. The doctors had completed further testing on Adrian. The results were astonishing. His original diagnosis had been completely misleading. He had never been permanently infertile. His fertility had been severely reduced by an old medical condition, but treatment had made natural conception possible. Maya stared at the report. So all of this started because someone lied. Adrian nodded. A lie that lasted 15 years. Maya looked at their daughter. And now we know the truth. Adrian smiled. Sometimes the truth arrives late. She took his hand. But it arrives. Isabella disappeared from the city. Her family lost almost everything. But before leaving, she sent Maya one final letter. Maya read it quietly. I hated you because you received the life I wanted. But eventually I realized Adrian never belonged to me. I hope you understand that. Maya folded the letter. She didn't hate Isabella. She simply closed that chapter. When Adrian returned home, Maya handed him the letter. Do you want to read it? No. Why? Because the past doesn't belong in our daughter's future. Maya smiled. She finally understood. Their marriage had begun as a transaction. But it had become a choice. A choice they made every day. 1 year later, Adrian's life looked completely different. He had stepped away from most of his criminal operations. His legitimate businesses continued to grow. Maya opened a bakery. It became one of the most popular places in the city. Their daughter spent mornings with Maya and evenings with Adrian. One afternoon, Adrian entered the bakery. Maya looked up. You're late. I had a meeting. You're always late. He smiled. I'm the Mafia boss. She pointed toward the kitchen. Not here. He laughed. You're terrifying. You married me. He walked behind the counter and kissed her forehead. Their daughter giggled from her chair. Maya looked at them both. Years ago, she had believed marriage to Adrian would destroy her life. Instead, it had given her a family she never expected. People who had once mocked Maya for being curvy now admired her confidence. People who had feared Adrian now saw a different man. And those who had called their marriage a business arrangement were forced to admit they had been wrong. Their daughter grew up surrounded by love. One evening, Maya and Adrian sat outside their home. She leaned against him. Do you remember when you told me you couldn't have children? He laughed. I remember. I thought my life was over. So did I. She looked at him. Would you change anything? Adrian thought for a moment. No. Not even the forced marriage? No. Maya smiled. That's surprising. Because if it hadn't happened, I wouldn't have met you. She leaned closer. And if I had known the ending? What would you have done? She smiled. I would have walked into that wedding much sooner. Years later, Adrian's old doctor publicly admitted the truth about the false infertility diagnosis. The revelation became national news. People finally understood why the pregnancy had shocked everyone. It wasn't betrayal. It wasn't a miracle. It was the result of a cruel lie that had controlled Adrian's life for years. But the biggest surprise wasn't the pregnancy. It was Maya. The woman everyone had underestimated had survived a forced marriage, a dangerous family, a high-risk pregnancy, and a mafia war. She had entered Adrian's mansion as a stranger. She left that chapter of her life as the woman who had changed him forever. One evening, Adrian looked at her and said, You saved me. Maya shook her head. No. She smiled. We saved each other. Maya once believed she had been forced to marry a man who could never give her the family she dreamed of. Adrian believed his future had already been decided by a medical diagnosis and a family that had manipulated him for years. Both were wrong. Their marriage began without love. It began with fear, pressure, and a deal neither of them wanted. But months later, Maya's mysterious sickness revealed a truth that shocked everyone. She was pregnant. The man everyone believed to be infertile was going to become a father. And behind that impossible pregnancy was a web of lies, betrayal, and manipulation that had lasted for years. Yet the greatest twist wasn't that Adrian could have children. It was that the mafia boss who had once believed power was everything finally discovered something more valuable. A woman who chose him freely. A child who called him dad. And a home where nobody was afraid of him. Maya looked at Adrian as their daughter ran laughing through the garden. Do you still regret marrying me? Adrian smiled. Every day. Maya gasped. He laughed and pulled her closer. Because I regret that I didn't fall in love with you sooner. She smiled. And for the first time, neither of them cared how their story had started. Only how it ended. Together.